there's a conspiracy theory view on what happened Monday too, which is the SEC is in a tough spot in that pretty much everyone, and I do mean everyone, now agrees that this thing needs to get approved. But if you can go back to the market manipulation argument, why it hasn't been approved, then you can stall some more. So if the goal, which is the narrative that's trying to be created by saying, oh, see, this proves how manipulated it is. Somebody spread a rumor and the price moved 10%.
It's no news that the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, is deliberately and consistently trying to suppress the development of the cryptocurrency industry in the United States. Earlier this year, supposedly in reaction to the FTX collapse, the Biden administration and federal regulators allegedly used various means to cut the cryptocurrency industry off from banking services with the goal of frustrating the participants of the industry and stunting its growth. The efforts were dubbed Chokepoint 2.0, named after a similar operation during the Obama administration to cut certain industries off from the financial system. Just as those industries were tagged undesirable by the Obama administration, the Biden administration seems to be making similar moves against the cryptocurrency industry. The first phase of that operation might be over or just temporarily laid to rest, but it seems we are heading into another phase. This time, the Chokepoint efforts will be targeted at spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. A few months ago, the topic of spot Bitcoin ETF was revived after BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed an application for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Several other large Wall Street firms also applied for a similar product with the SEC, and there's been a lot of back and forth since. However, it's clear that despite several calls from lawmakers, SEC Chair Gary Gensler plans to drag this out for as long as possible. According to Mark Yusko, renowned hedge fund manager and founder of Morgan Creek Capital, the financial regulator might have silently launched one of the remaining weapons in its arsenal without anyone realizing it did. On Monday, crypto news platform Cointelegraph sent the entire cryptocurrency industry into a frenzy after it broadcasted that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission had given the green light to BlackRock's iShares spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. The now debunked news quickly spread like wildfire. In its wake, Bitcoin jumped by over 10%, hitting $30,000 within minutes. Mark believes there is a very high chance that this was a deliberate effort to back up claims that Bitcoin and the entirety of the cryptocurrency industry is out of control and open to constant manipulation. We will now bring you clips from Mark's recent tell-all interview with Blockware. Please watch, share, and like this video. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel and join the conversation by dropping your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy.
And I've actually said this long before BlackRock even applied. I said there will only be one approval, and it will be BlackRock. And that's the way it is. And sucks. You know, the Winklevoss twins should have got approved the day they applied. They were first. And it should have been approved. And this idea that, you know, markets are manipulated. Oh, you mean more than the triple levered, you know, S&P ETFs that have lost 99.9999999% of their value? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, gold futures that have been manipulated, and JP Morgan paid $1 billion fine last year for manipulating the price of gold. You mean more manipulated than that? Come along lately, get some, but the first one out gets the mass of the money, the bulk of the money. So I knew that they would deny Kathy, and I knew they'd deny Hunter and the gang and give them extensions. I thought there was a 50-50 chance to get approved. I think now we got another 90 days that pushes it into the new year, probably more likely. But Monday changed things. Monday was clearly, in my mind, clearly a trial balloon to see kind of how it would fall. There's a conspiracy theory view on what happened Monday too. The SEC is in a tough spot in that pretty much everyone, and I do mean everyone, now agrees that this thing needs to get approved. But if you can go back to the market manipulation argument, why it hasn't been approved, then you can stall some more. So if the goal, which is the narrative that's trying to be created by saying, oh, see, this proves how manipulated it is. Somebody spread a rumor and the price moved 10%. Versus what? You mean when companies announce products that they don't have ahead of time and there's stock moves, or people announce, mergers that don't happen. Fake news happens all the time. And but that is one alternative view, that it wasn't, an accident or a trial balloon to see how it would feel, but rather a way to say, see, I told you, total manipulated market. We can't approve this thing. That's possible. The numbers are easy, and this is just supply and demand. So GBTC is the only thing that advisors can use today. So, registered investment advisors, and it's got about $20 billion in it. It's prohibited at a whole bunch of RIAs. Like, I say I have a family harmony account at UBS, meaning my brother-in-law works there. So that's why I have an account. I love my brother-in-law, but I wouldn't have an account there if it weren't for him. And I can't buy GBTC. I can't buy, blockchain mining or Bitcoin mining stocks.
You buy MicroStrategy?
Nope. Can't buy it. I mean, they block everything, and they're prerogative. It's a private company, and I could change, but I don't. Long story short, when the BlackRock ETF is approved, all of those firms, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, UBS, that have blocked it to this point, will immediately to buy it because their clients want it.
Regardless of other follow-up antics the SEC decides to employ, it will still be compelled to approve at least one of the applications before it. At some point, the agency has to realize it's fighting a lost battle, and there's no sense in delaying a spot exchange-traded fund on the basis of manipulation when there already exists a futures ETF, which everyone agrees is much easier to manipulate. A clear example is how much the U.S. banking industry, especially banking giants like JP Morgan, has been able to easily suppress the price of gold and other metals through the futures market. But Mark is certain we are going to get a spot Bitcoin product, and with it, billions of dollars in new allocation to Bitcoin. According to the renowned hedge fund manager, the big money investors of firms like BlackRock and Fidelity will allocate to Bitcoin. And with the current chaotic state of the global economy, they could allocate much higher than everyone expects. Here are more clips from Mark's interview.
And Eric Balchunas, I'm not how to pronounce his name, but I love Eric. It's like Yusko. Nobody, I know who knows me when they say Yusko, but although the other half of the clan does say Yusko, the other half. But he says there's $30 trillion, $30 trillion. I get my zeros right. $30 trillion of money in these RIAs that don't allow it today. If you get 0.1%, that's 30 billion. 30 billion doesn't sound like a lot on a $500 billion asset, but it's not a $500 billion asset.
Yeah, there's only 2 million something on exchanges, and then 2 million that have been moved within the last 6 months. So it's pretty liquid.
I mean, it's about, let's say it's 100 billion that moves. So 30 billion on 100 billion, that'll move the price. But it's not going to be 0.1%, right? I think it goes to 1%. Now we're talking 300 billion. Now 300 billion on 100 billion free float. Now you're talking a big move. 20 billion of that come out of GBTC, because there's no reason to own GBTC if you can, 2%, if you can own, BlackRock and pay 50 basis points or whatever they're going to charge. So there'll be a short-term selling, but, offset. So it probably won't go up quite as quickly. But I think inevitably you're going to get a 1% allocation to people's portfolio, and some may be even higher. But supply and demand, fixed supply. We know the growth of the supply. And we also have this challenge that a whole bunch that's lost or stolen. There's a whole bunch that can't move, either because it's multi-sig problem or just hodlers are going to hodl. When that gets approved, it's going to move price. And price movement is a form of validation of the market. I mean, Apple stock was in the toilet for decades until finally people said, I don't like my IBM PC anymore. I want the Apple PC. Oh, but your company won't support it. And So for years they had whatever, 8, 9, 10% market share because it was the artists and the graphic designers and people who knew it was a better operating system. Today, it's what I use. And there's still things that it doesn't do exactly well because Microsoft, makes it hard, but it works 95% of the time. If you're not following Bitcoin, if you're not investing in Bitcoin, if you don't have any exposure, that's my hashtag get off zero. We created way back when. Zero is the wrong number. I'm not saying you should have all your money, and I'm not, because at least for now, we still live in a fiat world, but zero is the wrong number. And every human being, every institution, everybody needs to get off zero. And so the more you learn about it, the more you understand it, the more you get that.
During the next few weeks, there are going to be a lot more conjectures, theories, and deviously manipulated statements presented as facts. Gensler has repeatedly sworn to go against the cryptocurrency industry, and he probably won't stop until he is no longer the head of the Exchange Commission. The industry undoubtedly has a battle on its hands, and it is one that must be fought to the very end. What are your thoughts on Mark Yusko's interview and his outlook on the cryptocurrency industry? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.